Welcome back to C&S Corvettes, everybody. This is Lyle, and today we're going to go into what has become part 2 of the most annoying little things on the inside of a C5 Corvette. Before I get to that, please don't forget to like, subscribe, do all the things for me. Again, really helps the channel, and it takes you 1 second, but it can mean big things for us. Thank you very much for doing that. Okay guys, so I've gone through the comments that you gave me last week on the C5 really bothersome little things that fall apart inside your car. And you guys actually had some really good points, so I want to go through some of those today from your feedback and look at solutions to those problems. All right, so let's move on to item number, this would be 6 on the C5 interior. It's this guy. This is a glove box lock and latch assembly for a C5 Corvette. It is made completely of plastic, and like everything else plastic that we've talked about, with age it gets brittle and it falls apart. Granted, so does your console, so does your glove box door, but at least this is replaceable and available in the aftermarket brand new. Comes in a variety of colors, the light oak, the gray, the black. I can get you one in shale if you need one in shale. The reds, all of that stuff's available. I do have a link under the video to Amazon if you just need a black or a tan one, because it's super easy. If you need one of a particular color, let me know in the comments or shoot me an email and I can get you one. These guys are now improved because where they break is right here. You can see that, okay? Where that little pin comes through, they've actually thickened these up more than the original so that they don't break right there at the pivot. So these are improved. They aren't a ton of money. I think they're like 49, 59, 69 bucks, whatever they are. And you know, they solve a problem. So that's number 1. Moving on. Item number 7 that you guys talked a lot about was the infamous cup holder for a C5 Corvette. Now we all know as C5 owners that this little thing right here doesn't hold squat other than maybe some spare change, maybe some pack of lifesavers, chapstick. Doesn't do anything to hold a drink in place. And in a sports car where this is all moving around, if you're driving the car in a sporting fashion, it just provides a perch for your Coca-Cola to sit until it explodes and spills all over your interior. Now, there are several aftermarket solutions to this problem. There are several that you can, like on this side over here, tuck under the console, and there'll be like 2 big cup holders over in the passenger footwell. That's aftermarket. You can do that. A more elegant solution is made by a company called Corvette Clips. I've got a picture of it here, and there's a link below to them on eBay or whatever. They actually make a ring that slides over this door here, rests against here, and will actually hold a Monster or a Coke in place without failing. Now, you're not going to be able to put a big gulp in there. You're not going to be able to put your big Arizona tea in there. But if you just drink normal sized cans, that little $20 ring makes all the difference in the world. They are not mass produced, but they are inexpensive, and you get to choose from a variety of colors. And if you want specific words or the name Corvette or whatever, they will make that and put that on there for you. So that's the most elegant and inexpensive solution to a really stupid problem. All right, item number 8. The HUD bezel. If your car has a heads-up display, there is a plastic trim frame that goes around the opening where the projector is underneath it and shoots up onto your windshield, right? With age, especially if you live in a hot climate like ours where there's a lot of UV and a lot of dash heat when your car's sitting outside, that bezel can begin to crack and fall apart. They do make an aftermarket bezel that is made to go over your existing bezel. So it comes with a tube of adhesive. You put a few dots of adhesive underneath this thing and you just put it down on top of your existing bezel, and that solves the aesthetic problem of an ugly cracked bezel. However, if your bezel is broken up enough to where it is actually like missing pieces and there's really nothing to stick that to, then you have to find a reproduction of the original bezel, which requires you to actually pull the dash pad, and then there are 4 like hollow feet that go down through holes in the dash, and there are retainer clips that hold that in place. Those are available if your bezel is too messed up to be able to use the stick-on cover, just hit me up down in the comments or email me and I can direct you to who has the original stuff, okay? But man, there's nothing worse than walking up to your car, looking through the windshield and seeing this, you know, plastic thing just in 6 different pieces. It's really ugly. Thankfully, it is easy to fix, especially if you're just doing the stick-on. Link below in the video on how to get a hold of that from Amazon. Item number 9, kind of a combo here. I had a lot of people talk about the console door in the center console and the lock that it goes into. Well, I can deal with the lock very simply. This is it. This little black thing right here has a spring-loaded arm and the plastic hook on the console door. When you push down, this flips down and captures it. Now, over time, this can break, it can get brittle, just like everything else we're talking about, or the little spring-loaded arms here that hold it into the bottom base of your console can break and it can pop out. Good news is, this is actually one of the products that we make. It is inexpensive. I think it's $19 or something like that on the website. You can go right to my website and get them. And changing it is super easy because all you have to do is, with a screwdriver, get in behind one of these in your console, pop it up, throw it away, take your new one, and there is a little arrow right here on the front that shows it pointing to the front of the car, so you install it the right way. Arrow goes to the front of the car and you just click this into place. That solves that problem. Super easy, right? This is going to be like 9B, okay? We have the other issue. This is the hinge for your center console door. Now, is it a poor design? Yeah. Is it workable? Yeah. But they don't really tell anybody how this is supposed to work. Okay? So this sits in your car, and when you lift your console door, you need to lift, let me see if I can do this where you can see it. You need to lift up this way and then pivot the door. So lift up and pivot. So when you lift up your door, it isn't just a 90 degree of poof. It is lift and then kind of twist because the hinge kicks in from the bottom. Now the reason they did this was that in 1990 through 1996, for the center console doors for the Corvette, they only had a 90 degree flat hinge, kind of like a door hinge on your door, you know, just. Problem was that every time you would open your console door, the passenger side edge of that console door would make contact with the carpet and the vinyl trim on the side console that's carpeted and goes down to the floor, and it would start peeling up the vinyl cover on that console door to the point where there's no such thing as a good unpeeled console door in the world. Doesn't exist because it was a design flaw. So to get away from that, they added this kind of swing out and in hinge motion on this guy. These are not reproduced. I do have good used ones if yours are broken. I can tell you one thing, if yours are acting wonky, what you want to look at are these little bars right here, okay? Those are kind of like the hinge pivots. If they are pooched out and round, you want to flatten them out. Tap them down, press them down. You take this out and tap them down. It'll work a lot better. Also, a little lube never hurt on these. I actually met the guy that designed this for GM when I was at a Corvette show in Old Town in Kissimmee in Florida when the NCRS show used to be there. And I was actually talking to a customer who was asking about the console doors that we used to make, and he said, oh, well, what are you doing about the hinges? I said, yeah, the hinges aren't the best design, but they do work. You just have to know how to kind of lift and pivot rather than just open. And there was a gentleman standing next to me. He goes, yeah, I designed that. And I was like, no, really? He's like, no, really, I'm the one who designed it. He says, in my defense, they gave me 40 hours to design it. And not 40 work hours, like in 40 hours from this minute, you have to have a solution to this that isn't going to peel up the console door. So he said, I did the best I could. And he did. And it's okay. But they are fixable. But if yours is irretrievably broken or rusted, I do have good used ones. They're also on my website. Next item on the list. And this one, man, radio knobs. Any of you who've had a C5 for any amount of time know that the radio knobs, especially the 4 little ones for the balance, the fade, the bass, and the treble, crack and fall apart. They do. They're cheaply made. The good news is Dorman actually makes those, and you can buy the whole set of 6 knobs, so that's the volume knob, the tuner knob, and all 4 of the little knobs in one kit from Amazon for 17, 18, 19 bucks. I got the link below down there if you need to buy them. They just pull off and press on. I will give you a little tip. Inside each of those plastic buttons from GM, there's a little D-shaped metal spring retainer, okay? Now, when those buttons break and they kind of fall apart, oftentimes that spring retainer stays on the metal shaft coming out of the radio. And if you try to push a new button on that has a spring retainer in it already, you'll be going, why won't this push in all the way? It just won't go right. Well, what you want to do is make sure that that shaft does not have a little piece of metal ring around it when you try to put your new button on. So as you're going to do this, make sure that you go through and make sure each of those shafts is completely clear, and you can push on the shaft, it'll pop out a little bit to get you better access, and just take any of those that are still there off, pitch them, put your new buttons on, and you'll be fine for another 7 to 10 years until those two fall apart. One question I did get from several people doesn't have anything to do with a part that goes bad, but they had a question about the quote hidden screws in the dash. This applies particularly to the radio bezel, shifter bezel plate, that big piece of plastic that goes up to the center of your dash, and where the secret screws are, so that if you're going to take that out to rebuild your HVAC display or replace the radio or whatever you're doing, you don't break that really expensive large plastic panel in the process. So I'm going to take 20 seconds here and I'm going to show you precisely where those hidden screws are. Let me grab the thing. Hidden screw number 1 is right here, and that is right behind. Remember that tiny little girl we talked about last week that always falls out and you have no idea what it's for? It actually covers the ambient air temperature sensor. There's a screw behind there, and if you're going to remove this panel, you need to make sure to take that screw out. Other hidden screws. You've got one right here next to the cigarette lighter. I'm sorry, it's not a cigarette lighter anymore, it's a 12-volt access point. The 12-volt access point, there's a screw here, and then behind, this one's fun, behind the ashtray insert, there is another screw. You can see it right back here. You can see my finger covering it, okay? That's the other screw you have to remember, and you have to pull the ashtray out to get to it. So, 3 hidden screws, one by the ashtray, one by the 12-volt access, and one behind the ambient air temperature sensor cover. Make sure you take those out, because if you don't, you're going to break this, and it's expensive. You don't want to do that. Another little item that one person mentioned, and I wish I had their name in front of me because I'd like to give them credit for it. This guy. This is the little plastic bezel that goes around your ignition switch. And you'd think, now how does that break? How hard can this be, right? Well, there are little teeth behind it here, here, and here that actually snap into the switch itself. And once these get brittle and fall out, you'll notice that as you turn your key, this is turning. And then off, it's got off, accessory, on, and start printed on here, and they'll be in the wrong place. You actually see this being able to kind of move in your dash. These are available. I don't have them, I don't carry them here because I don't sell enough of them, but they are available in a link below so you know where to get them if that is one of your problems. And finally, the last one on the list is the fog lamp switch. This guy. The switch itself isn't really a problem. The problem is in the lower dash panel behind it. So this switch plugs into a wiring harness with one plug, and it's held in by this little clip that is supposed to go into the background plastic of that panel and hold it. Problem is, plastic brittle, plastic break, and one day you get in your car and this is just hanging out of your dash with a wire attached to it. And you try to put it back in, but since that plastic is now broken, the hole that this pin went into is gone, there's no way to stuff this back in. So I've seen people use glue, double-faced tape, Velcro, all kinds of things. And those do work temporarily. If you actually want to solve the problem, there is a kit that they make to repair the receiver for this in that lower dash panel. There's a picture here, a couple pictures here, and there's a link to it in the description below. It's a metal plate that is specifically made to be attached to the remnants of that broken plastic with screws You're going to drill little holes. It comes with a drill bit and everything. And then this will click back into place. Oh, and speaking of hidden screws, if you need to remove that dash panel, there's a hidden screw behind this guy too. Don't forget that. All right, guys, that pretty much covers all the things you guys pointed out in your feedback. I very much appreciate you guys taking the time to react to that and give me this information so I could, remember some of these other things that are a problem and present it to everybody else. So thank you very much. I look forward to hearing any more comments you may have about things that are wrong. The HUD itself, the heads-up display, is rebuildable. I had several people mention that, but I'm going to do a video on that by itself, more of a how-to in detail kind of thing in the next couple of weeks. Also in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to have a part 2 to the LS7 video that I did. Many of you guys had a whole lot to say about what Paul Kerner from GM told me and what I reported to you, and I have since been in touch with other people who are experts in the preservation and improvement of the LS7s, and I'm going to talk about what they had to say, and we know that somewhere in between the two lies the truth, so I look forward to that. Any questions, any comments, right below, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Have a good weekend.